Alright guys, so welcome once again to another section of this training. Previously we discussed extensively on the budget. I also walked you through, also had a video where we also walk you through the data set that we'll be using. But today is going to be exceptional. We are going to be diving deep. We're going to be preparing this budget with the numbers that we have had, right? We've taken our time to prepare our numbers, all the numbers we'll be needing, and also this section is still going to walk you through the assumption that will form the base of our numbers for our projection. We'll be starting off from the revenue down to the costs. Okay. So I think this probably is going to be the last video for our budgeting section. Well, I'm going to be walking through everything about the budgeting section. Now, for this data set, for you to be able to practice with this data, below this video, the description section, you're going to see the link where you'll be able to download this data set for your practice purpose, right? You can play around it, play with it, and all of that. Now, let's get right into it proper. So here on my screen is the breakdown of the P&L summary. You know, at the end of the day, after you gather the information, you're going to consolidate. So at the end of the day, it's still going to form the basis of your P&L projection, where we want to see if the business is going to be profitable or not based on all the numbers, revenue projections, and the expenses you're going to incur, right? This is where everything, in summary, the business is going to look like, right? So this is the historical number, fiscal year as at 2022 for this business. This is a typical case study of a manufacturing company, manufacturing business, right? So this is for the year 2022, how their P&L has been like. You can see their EBIT and their EBIT, as same as, you can call this one as same as your EBITDA and all of that. So your EBITDA could be from here, right? Let's just structure it with it. So this is their EBIT. You can see the profit before, after depreciation and all of that. And you can see profit before, after interest, and profits after tax as well. So you can see how it has been positive all through this time. So now this is for 2022 down to 2023 and even 2024. So that means I have 3 years financial data here with me to work with. Now the essence of this, I want to be able to assess the business trend and all of that. Now I also have SQC's histories, right? This is the revenue for each of these product lines, the breakdown and all what have you. So we have the units that has been sold as at 2022, and also the total revenue for this product line, right? So this number, for information, this numbers has been shortened, right, by 1,000 units. So I can actually, let me just convert them to a phone number so that I won't have time to be. So I'll just highlight everything here. So let me just use comment. I'm going to use this unit to do that, right? I want to convert it back to the phone numbers. So if you look where appropriate and all of that. Alright. So I didn't do much actually, so you can see the number was actually divided, like it was divided in 1,000, like this one divided by 1,000 units to give you the 10.50 hours. So I want to see them in full. So that's just my best way of it. So I will just come here, and this is the revenue for each of these product lines. So I'm going to apply the same format here. So the same also, we'll leave this one. This is the unit of unit. This for 2023, and this is for 2024 as well. This is for 2024. So this is the breakdown. So you can always play around and see the trends and how this business has been doing overall. So we also have price history. You can see the price history here. I'll bring that to based on historical. The price history as at 2025, how the business prices have moved on, what prices from 2023, 2024. You can see that for Pump Vibe industry, you have 310, 345 down to 380. So you are going to determine what price you are going to use for the current year you are preparing for. The year you are preparing for is for the year 2025. So you have 2022 data, 2023 and 2024. for data. So this is the revenue breakdown for each of these services and how it has been like for the business. So, and also we have the cost structure. So this is the cost structure. The cost structure is basically all direct costs, including raw material, direct labor, manufacturing overhead, freight and logistic costs, and quality. So warranty. So we give you a total of your cost of goods sold. These are the major. They are majorly tied to the level of activities in the business. Right. So based on historic data, this is how it has been like. You get in terms of unit, raw materials is the unit for 2022, and as a percentage cost of revenue, to revenue is this, which is 29, 10, and what have you, right? So this one simply give you a portion, right? The way we got this one was basically this divided by the overall portion. So what portion is it taking overall cost of the business, right? Let's freeze this one, right? I call this one. You can see it's 52. So you drag it down, I'll give you about 10%. That means this one has raw material has the highest, yes, highest amount in terms of among all these items here. This raw material has the highest, contributes like it's overtaking over 52% overall cost of goods for the business as of 2022. So this is as a percentage of revenue, right? You are saying this divided by the overall, what percentage of our cost is our revenue? What percentage of our revenue is being eaten up by our cost? Let's put it that way. Right? So cost raw material here is 29. So percentage 29% of our raw material has been taken up by 29%, sorry, 29% of our revenue, or 2% of our revenue have been eaten up by our raw material, and also down to the revenue. That means over 56% of the revenue has been taken up by cost of goods sold. The remaining 40 something percent will give you, the remaining 44% will falls within your let's say your OPEX and other, which you can see at the end of the day could be maybe just 8% or 12% for your EBITDA profits which will be left for the business. So this for history, 2023 to down 2024. So you can, data will be available, you can play around it and what have you. So we have revenue. These are revenue for by region. So we have revenue by region. This is Lagos, Port Harcourt, Kaduna, Ibadan, and also we have the revenue by segment, distributors, and we also have it by channel, which we have direct sales, distributor, e-commerce, tender government, and export agents. And also these are assumptions that we're going to use for 2025. Now, how did we form this basis of assumption? Right, so this assumption is something you need to align with management when you are presenting, where you are projecting in terms of inflation. Now, when we look at the FS rate, maybe the other aspect of the business where you require the FS planning, in the sense that maybe the business do actually import their services or import or buy import some of their raw materials or products from international countries, whereby you need exchange of naira to dollar to be able to acquire those things. So you need to budget what dollar rate you will be using for that period. Now we have looked historically how the FS rate has been like from 2020 based on the 3 years financial data that we have gathered. After 2022, it was 430. It moved up to 2023, moved up to 770, down to 2024, 1,530. For your information, these are assumption numbers, right? So we just added a note here, commenting like CBN guide dead band at 158 to 160 for 2025. Use midpoint yellow equals to a bit monthly. Now, what simply means here, I put this comment. This comment is just like a guide for anyone who is looking at your model. You want to understand the reasons behind your assumptions and what you and the success, right? So you are basically saying, so don't say why did you use 1,600? What are you saying? Based on historical trend, this is how the business has been doing. This is how the FS rate has been going, and the CBN. I've also looked at the CBN website or see how what projection they have made for the period, how it's going to look like for the coming year 2025, and you can use that. So they are basically saying within the band of 1,580 to 1680. So what you can even simply do, you can even take the average by adding 1580 plus 1680 divided by 2, which can give you the average which you can use. Let's say for instance is 1580 plus 1680, which the CBN has projected. This will give you this divide by 2, which basically is going to give you see you see 1630, which will what we had initially. So that's how you can take the average, since they're saying it will be in between 1580 to 1680. Or better still, you can even take the higher band of 1680 if you want, right? But you should just be, so we're just trying to be more realistic, since they're saying it's 1580 and all of that. So we just take the average to be at the middle point of it. So even if there is still inflation and it increased more than 1580, we'll still be in a better position not to affect, not to be so surprised with that much chunk and all of that, right? Which we already prepared our mind against that, that we still, our budget is still in a well position. If we go down below that 1080, which is also good favorable for us, so we are just preparing ahead. So that's everything you need to know. I'm just trying to walk you through your assumption, right? Now we have the inflation rate. Currently, we are using 28%. And as of 2022, this is how the inflation for the economy has been like for Nigeria, which this inflation will guide us through how we'll be able to plan our costs and our expenses so that we won't be cash unaware when the numbers start coming in. So that's basically what it's all about. So we said for 2022, we have 18.5. 24.5 to 3.6. So MBS CPI target 25, concession is 26 to 30. So you see, you can always get this information, your Nigerian inflation, when you go on Google and even go on Google and type, maybe probably you say the Nigeria inflation rate to the, oh, I'm not on internet currently. So you see the website, go on Nigeria Bullion Service, you see where they usually publish this data on current inflation of the economy. So basically, we are taking 28% as our projection for the current year, that inflation is going to rise to 28%, even if it decides to go down, right? So it will be able to be favorable for us whichever case. So we won't be caught unaware, right? So we are not going with the lower band, so we're just taking the 26.2, and you can even do the average. And that's that. That's the assumption that is holding. So the reason why it's on blue, like I actually explained, that all your accoded numbers are always in blue. So this is 2025 input, which we are using, and the oil price are using 72. For example, 72 per dollar per barrel. Liter barrel is $72. Yes. So here is I saying that 2022 was 101, 18 and 80. So it has actually dropped down, right? So Brent assumption impact Nigeria logistic government spend is going to be 72. So what we are using based on our findings and all of that. Then again, in terms of, let's come down to the volume per unit. Now, our unit growth you see on here is 10%. This height has grown significantly in terms of growth, in terms of volume. What we find here, 12%, 15, and all of that. So you can even go back and do all of that for yourself to see if what we are seeing actually makes sense. So this is, let's see, typical structure of the volume, how the volume has look like. Let's see if we can even get it from here. Right, so let's see. I think okay, yes. So here's our volume. So you can actually get it from here. Let's see how it has been like for us for the business and all of that. So this is as a month on month or yearly, year on year. This is the total. You can even do something. You can even come here and say. So this is the total for the. This is the total for 2024, and this is the total for 2020. This is 2023, and this is 2022. So you can even do the growth and say, okay, let's put it here. Let's put it here. Let's, because there's no space. Let's put it here. So this is the total for 2022, and this is the from 2022 to 2023, how has it been like? How has it grown? What is the trend like? So you can do the total for 2020. This is 2023 divided by this, if I'm right, minus 1. So this is wrong. Let's see what's happening here. Okay. Um, so oh, sorry. So if this was supposed to be using, this is it. You can see that it's 14. Then let's do for that of 2023, which is this. Let's do from here. This divided by this minus 1. You can see that we have minus 13, so it has reduced, which will still fall down to around nothing, right? So if you do, even if you decide to do this, sorry, so we're just trying to walk you do this and see, sorry, this divided by current year divided by the previous year, which is this one, which give you, sorry, just to ensure that we're using the right numbers. Okay, so minus 1, you can see that 15. So averagely is 15%, which we are still right. Right, we come here to the historical numbers, so you can see that the business has been, go back to assumption. So let me bring my assumption to the front here so that everything looks around. Okay. And on my projection, this is my template I'll be using. So this I'll keep a copy for you. So this is one I'll be using in case you want to cut it. So I always like to make a duplicate in case it is wrong. So you can see that 12, 15. Again, so is it within the range of 12, 15? The one that's for the particular vice business and all of that. So this for each of the line items here on here, 12, 15. So you can take the average. So the average here, you can see it's still within 13.5. You can decide to, okay, let's use 10, 12. You can decide to take the average 15 and what have you, right? So 14 and like that. So this is based on, this is what, so I've decided to use 10. I use 12. So the historical is 12, we model 10% on softer demand. So once we don't want to be too aggressive based on demand. We want to say, okay, let's use 10%. And you see that whatever reasons you are using, even if you do the average, why did you not use the average? There is around 13.5. Or even if you decide to use 12 or 10, you should be able to justify the reason why. And like just a lot of what I've written here, are using 10% based on a softer demand, I just say by SQU. And also, oil sector is recovering, driving demand outside if CapEx resume, right? So the reason why we are doing that, why we are using 12%, we are not using because uh, we are assuming that there's going to be an upside in CapEx if CapEx actually comes in and all of that as well. So we've already arrived the reason for our numbers, and these are the assumptions in terms of pricing. Now, pricing, this how the prices has been like. We have 11, 10%, right? And also 11 for each of these services. And also averagely for prices, we're using 10. So if you check on an average, it's 10.8. So I've tried to keep it at 10% for the current year. So this is how it has been like for other business. We see can do average, you can still give around 10.6% for across all businesses. So this is how it's going to be for the year. So we are not using it on overall level, it's 10%. But in each of these services, they have different prices. We have 10%, 10, 9, 13.2%. So market margin. So like I said, there are various ways you can apply your COGS. Now where you have all the units of the quantity of the item that you can go as much as DT where you have all the SKU for the quantity of all the products that you have, all the quantity of inventory that you have, whereby you want to justify each of the cost per unit for these services. But again, if you are working in a very large organization where the inventory warehouse is very large. Of course, for you to be able to do this will be very much difficult for you, where you want to pull each of the line items and be justifying for them. But again, another way you can do this is having budgeting your costs as a percentage of your revenue based on historical. Now, based on history, you from 2022, you can see how the consumption for each of these COGS margin has been like. Blended cost gross margin has been like this what the gross margin they have been maintaining 44.5, 43 after COGS. So we are seeing that we are going to be maintaining 43.0% historical compression, right? Targeted stabilized at 43% that cost saving. So we want to be saving a lot of costs. So at least 43%, you see, averagely it has been around 43.5. That's what we want to maintain. We want to see our cost. Raw material as a percentage of revenue is 54. You can see it has been 52, 53, and it has been increasing. So we are capping it. So let's check. Average it has been 53.2. So we are capping it at 54. So key driver FS pass through risk hedge where possible. So we know that some of this raw material is going to be impacted by FS transaction for exchange due to importation and export and all of that. We have our labor, we can also do that as a percentage of our revenue. Historically, this is how it has been, and it has been 17, average of 17.5%, but we are capping it at 17%. Our minimum wage increase 5% to add pressures from January. Right? So just describe your reasons and everything, and this is how we are going to be modeling. Now for your OPEX is going to basically be more like, yeah, which you're selling and fitting, selling goods and fitting expenses is going to be, there are different ways. Like this one we are doing now is more like a an incremental budget. This is an incremental budgeting that what we are doing, right? We're incrementing based on past trend, how the business has been doing, and that. For this is not like more of a zero-based budget. The zero-based budget is where we are going to justify each of the costs, each of the management is going to provide, like I earlier explained, is going to provide us with their expense line for what they plan to spend for the year and all of that, which at the end of the day you are going to consolidate. Now, this is an incremental budget where I will also make another video where we are going to look into the zero-based budget, whereby we can consolidate. We have a breakdown from each department and all of that, but it's just basically the same. So, this is an incremental budget. This is how you can do it, an incremental budget. Like I said, the budget is usually both incremental and zero-based budget. So, like our expenses, we are doing incremental, we're just finding every targets that we're going to be making, and also the costs we're also doing incremental based on percentage of revenue, and also our expenses and percentage of revenue. Even depreciation, we're doing as percentage of our revenue, and interest as well. So our tax rates we're using 30. Nigeria corporate tax is unchanged, which is usually 30%. Now, bad debt provision percentage of revenue is 2%. We have capital. So, definitely, there's going to be some issues in receivables whereby we'll not be able to collect all our debts, and what portion of that. See, it's not every aspect of our revenue or our revenue that we'll be able to collect for the period. There are still some bad debt that will still be incurred, whereby some people will not be able to pay up and all of that. So we have to also account we have to also have to account for that as well. So that's that for the assumption. And yes, for the segment, this for the if you want to do that for by segment, by region, and what have you. So revenue growth and of what have you that you need to do if you are planning it based on that. So now let's use our template. This is the template we're using. These are let me display because this is where we're going to be making our projection in. And these are the various projects. So now these are the SQ line. We're starting with the revenue first. So in January, we are saying that um we're doing an incremental budgeting. So if we're doing an incremental budgeting, we are not going to be able to see the seasonality of this of this month. Basically month on month, on the month on month, revenue does not see linear trend, linear increase. It's usually fluctuates. There might be a drop in February and increase in March. So how do you find this seasonality and what it is? So what if we just do a straight line increase like what we have here? So let's see um So we are planning based on volume level, right? So the volume for this is what we are using for pumps and valve goods, electricity. Let's see all the valves. So pump valve B, A and B, the control electrics, let me see. Okay, electric products goods, electrical pipes, pumps and valve goods. So all pumps and valve goods is what we are using. And instruments here. So we have digs in this level. Alright. So let's see how we can harmonize it so that everything stay aligned with what we are. So this is overall good projection of 10%. This is what we are using. Right? So now for the first one is industrial pump. So let's go to the historic um number. So this is the historical number quantity, right? So we'll make our projection. So let me just put for 2025 here, right? Let me bring 2025 here. I think this is better here, right? So I will bring in 2025. I'll create another one and put it here, right? So let me clear up these numbers. So we have let me clear these numbers. Okay, good. So this is what we're going to use for 2020. So copy this one and paste it here. And this is going to be for 2025. So let me put this one in green, which is the active year that look different from others, right? Okay. Let me put this one in maybe a lighter green, a lighter gray, and make it in black. So alright, so now this is 76. Oh, I didn't bring this skill. So we can actually let me create another space here. Okay. So copy this product SKU here. This product. So that's our template. I'm just trying to follow the template that we have. Right. So let's see if I something like this. Okay. Yeah. So now let's get right into it properly. Right. So right now, this is the various products, and this is the units. Let's take this one off. So the first one we're going to be looking at is the unit. This is the unit. Let's put this one here so that everything will work out fine for us. This is the unit sold. So unit projection. Unit. Let's put unit. Let's put unit. I want to do everything here. So it will be easier for us. And this is going to be now again what we need to do. So we also need to see well you already have the price already. So this price needs to be justified for if you want to see the price, it's very easy. You can bring this one. Since we have our revenue, let's just do that. Let's do that, right? So let's bring this one down here. Let's bring this one down. Yeah, so this will be our monthly average price. Average price, right? So let's see the average price historically for each of these each of these period. Now, so let's bring down this one down here and put it here. All right. So for you to get the average price, if you do the revenue divide by, so this is the revenue for this particular product one, divide by the quantity units sold here, will give you. So this is the price for that month. So you can drag it down to get to this place, down across to this place. So this is the price, how the price has looked like per product, per unit. So for each unit, this is the price. And then we'll do this one because this you get. So averagely can be 145. You can see. So you can even, let's take this one and let's look uniform. Right. So this is the average price per each of these products, right? This is the average price. This is it. You can go, if you go back to our prices, you see that, look at it, 2023. You see, we're 345, which is something we already have here already. So for 2023, we've already justified that price already. So let's go back to our assumption. So I'm just showing you so that everything, you see how we got that average price for that projection that we had, right? That's why I'm just trying to, everything should logically make sense. I'm coming. Um, uh, uh, uh. So, let's see, where are we? Okay, so this is the history, cost structure, before the price, historic. Okay, yeah, this is it. So now we have the average price. You can also do the same thing for SKU. So we have the average price here already. So let's see SKU. Get so the average price is here. You can also do the same thing for this one. The same thing. That's how they got that one. So this one divide by this. So 308. So of course, this is the average price. I like this one, so everything looks really fine. Okay, so we're not summing. So the average price here, you can see the average price across for the year is 309, and that's how we have got those numbers to come to the 309, almost approximately 310. Yes, 310, right? So let's make our numbers a whole digit numbers. So that's how we got these historical numbers you are seeing here, right? For the various periods. So we have the reason why we are doing this, we're able to see. So we are not doing a very high level. So we do the same thing here. Let's copy this one. Same here. Alright, so the same thing. The everything just flow down like that. So that's how this number we're getting, alright? So now we've already had our assumption. This is our assumption. Where is it? This is our assumption we're going to be using. So we already made our assumption for our price. But this is our price, we're seeing an average for this, right? 10%. And this level, hydraulic and all of that. So hydraulic is, so we are going to all these one for this is hydraulic, and we have gauge, we have instruments, we have electric. So again, we have to make things easy for us. We'll come here. Let's itemize this thing properly. So this price is going to be, because these are prices not broken down the way it is here, so it will be easy for us. So we have industrial pump A and B. So pump here, you can see pump and valve. This is the price. We take this one. Let's put it here. is for price. And then we have, you can bring this one down to, yeah, so we have control vibes. So what do they call control and vibes? Yeah, the same thing, the same price we are using for them. I'll bring this one down to, right? Then we have electric. Electric here, what I will assume, so electric here is electric for all electric increase. So this is electric, we have another electric here too. We're using the same price for them. And again, we have gear, steel, and steel again. Gear and steel, which is fittings. So we bring that into, you see, pipelines and everything. So take this one and put it here, pipelines and fittings. There too, see the way. So then we have hydraulic. The next one is hydraulic. See, hydraulic is here. We have hydraulic and instrument. Hydraulic. So this is hydraulic price increase. So during this way, we'll be able to use our formula to be able to capture them properly. So you can see what I have done. So because the assumption here was not broken down into the way our revenue broken down there, so we're able to use our formula to do that, right? So now what we need to do now is, okay, so we are going to say, for first of all, the revenue we're going to, we've already had our price. This is our price we're going to be using, and this is our volume, right? This is our volume. So we need our volume and our price, right? We need our volume and our price. Now again, I'll come here. Let's use this for, let's take this one down a bit, right? So I'll use this for my, I'll call this one, instead of my revenue projection, I'll call this one my volume, my unit. This is how I'm going to make my projection for my unit, right? Then I also have another section for my price. So I'll call this one price. Let's call this one price. 10% price increase. Now from the, we are doing that for the current year monthly. That's year 2024, which will be our base. So what is the price like? Let's see. Let's go back there. Price history. So this is the price for the year 2024. I'm going to, that's what I'm going to be using, right, as my baseline for that. So average across this month. I'm going to take the average across this month. So I'm going to take the average price, the average price for these 3 years, which give you 45. I'm going to bring it down. Good. So this is the price I'm using for those 3 years, from 2020, let's say 2022 to 2024, right? So which will be my baseline. This will be my baseline. This is my baseline, right? This is my base. This is my base. So now I'm going to use this as my yardstick. Now, what is this? What is the percentage increase in price we are using for pulp and bag? Now let's go to our assumption. Assumption here say pulp and bags is 11% for price. So I'm going to anchor it here and freeze it. I'll do 1 plus this, right? 1 plus this. So this is 1 plus this. Now this is the new price we'll be using across. Sorry. No. Let's do so that it's easy for us. So we do this if um yeah, this is the formula. If this is equals to this, it is going down, right? Let's anchor this one because it will be going down, moving across rows. This equals to this, then do this times 1 plus what? This. So this, then this one is also going down, right? Close it. Right. So we have 383. So we can drag it down. This is Fox. So moving. Okay, there's an issue. So this is equals to this. Oh, it's not moving. Oh, sorry. Let's not call it. Let's not call it. Let's move this on call. If this is equals to this, uh, coming, just trying to check our formulas to ensure that we're doing the right thing. I want a situation where we'll just be able to apply that immediately. So without complicating this. Okay, we can even let's just do it this way. I'll see, I don't know what I'll check that formula. So we do this is pop and vibe. So we apply the formula to all pop and vibes. So these are base we are using times 1 plus pops and vibes. Pops and vibes. So all pops and vibes is going to be that formula. That's what you're going to be using. So this is pops and vibes. So you drag it down to pops and vibes here. This is where pops and vibes is. The same price you're using, right? 10% goods. Then from here is electric. Do the same thing. This times 1 plus the assumption that I have here. What's the assumption here? For electrical price, so you see 10%. 10%, right? You want to call this one. Right, so drag this one, get electric. So the next one is this times 1 plus um pipes. Pipes fittings, 9%. That's the new price goods we're using. Mm-hmm. Right, so you can drag this one down to get to this box, right? So this is now our new price. So we do this for this one too. 1 plus hydraulic, assumption hydraulic is this 10%. So you drag down this space and do the last one for instrument. 13 point something percent. Good. So now this is, you can see that it is not uniform, right? This is the total. Let's see the average price here is not uniform across this product is 4 something. Here is 510. So let's check historical, and you can see, go to your price here. You can see the average here across is 464, which is what we had. Now we are getting this. You get, so that's that. We go further, and this is our new price we'll be using. Now again, how do you do this. You don't increase your price on a yearly basis. You don't do that. So this is what we are going to be using our price all through for the month. These are new price. These are new price. So you drag this one across. So this, move all this one, put them in blue, in black. Let's take this one off of the color. Right, so this is your new price you are using, right? We did an increase. Yeah, these are new price. Let's put this on green. Right, this is your new price. So average of 10. Now we are going to do for our unit. The next one is unit. This is price. So we're going to do for quantity, unit, unit. So now the unit is still going to maintain. We're still going to maintain the same what we have here. All right. So let me bring this one, create a line here, and bring this from here too. So everything looks all right. So this is our price. I like it using on front and using calibre. I like calibre so everything looks better. So now that we have this, the thing we are going to do next is what is the average quantity for these products? Do we have them? The average quantity for each of these products. So that's what we are going to look at for. So now the average for those for 2023, let's come to SQ. This is the quantity here, right? Averagely, this is the sum, total quantity for the year. So average per month. Let's turn this on to average. Average per month is this. Do you get? This is the average quantity per month. Though it fluctuates, we'll talk about how to apply seasonality. For now, let's just do that. Average quantity. This is the average. Average per month. So let's take COGS if we have something like that. Okay. Quantity we don't have. Okay. So average per month. The SQ is here. So come here. You can even do that here. Okay. So we can even do the projection here. So you can say let's see how the growth has been like. Let's see how the growth has been like for this business. Let's see how the growth has been like. Okay. Okay. So average growth of quantity for each of these product month on month. Let's see. Historical. Let's drag this on down. Okay. So we have three. So this average, let's put these ones like correct. See For which year is this? This is for 2024. So we are using 2024 as a yardstick. So, right? So we're using 2024 as a yardstick. Good. So this will be 2024. Let's see. For 2025. Okay. So averagely, this is how it has been. Month on month. Okay. So now let's go on. Just a minute. Let me format this. So it looks it. Alright, so this is the average quote for this in terms of quantity. This is revenue, so I don't need that. I don't need that. So I'll take this one off. I don't need it. You can do that if you want to, but I personally don't need it. So you can do this. Can you want to see the growth in revenue for that here? This divided by this minus 1. This is revenue. Exactly, you see everything they are looking out for. I feel like almost the same thing, 3%. This is the averaging. Is this summing everything here? So drag this one down here. Alright, so you can take this one as to we an average. You see, you can see that it still falls 3, just like what we have here. Right. So okay, let's go. We'll bring it here. For 20, let's use 20. We are using 2024 as our base. So we can bring this one here. Average monthly goods. So we are bringing 2024 average SKU. This is it. Good. So this is the average quantity for the year month on month for the year 2024. So I will do the increment based on this month on month growth rate times. So let's bring where's our assumption? So price, we've done our price, our margin. Let's see our volume. So our volume here, you see that we already have this here. Our volume here, so we are doing 12, 11, 10, 18, like that. So for pumps and vibes, we come here. Let's do, so we have the same thing here. So pump and vibes, we do the same thing. This times 1 plus pumps and vibes is this. We apply this, fix it. Okay. So sorry, this is now a new price. Pumps and vibes. Pumps and vibes. Okay, so for electric, we'll come here. This plus electric is here. Now call this one. Okay, then this fittings increasing. Fittings. I want to be able to use. I don't want to complicate. Or you can use formula to do these ones. You can see where those are formulas that come in handy, but I don't want to overcomplicate things here. So let's just go. Um, so this one too. So hydraulic is here. Hydraulic is. So we do this times 1 plus. So increasing 1 plus this. The instrument. Instrument is this. Good. So this is our quantity month to month. So this side is going to be increasing. We are saying it's going to be increasing. Well, so what we have done is a linear progression. So we are just saying it's going to be increasing. It's not going to be downsides and all of that. But again, I'll show you how to downsize this so that it will look like if we are just doing a linear trend increase, right? So now that we have our units, our price, we cannot do our revenue below here. So let's have another section. You can do your revenue projection, or you can use here to the template. So you can have your revenue. You can bring this one down here too. Um, put it down here, right? So what then you now have is you can do this. So let's do this. Multiply this multiply by the volume that you have. This gives you this. This is the revenue, month to month revenue, historic. So this is it. You can drag this one across. Perfect. So this is our revenue. You can see that we've done our revenue in a blink of month to month, and this will give you right. So we can put your total here. We don't need all these forms. You have the actual. So you can take this one off. So everything looks properly neat. So total quantity for the year. Okay. If you see some everything here, we still give you what you have. So you have 6 million. 5. So something is wrong here. This multiply by this. So this one is summing everything here. Oh, this is price. Oh, sorry. Taking average. Well, this is unit. So you're not summing this one. This is price. That is not adding up. Okay, good. So you can see that you're making sense. So this is it. Now that we have, you can see the granular now. You can see how each of these products is going to be doing. Let's put a line here just to make our work very easy. So what we are working on currently is the revenue. We are projecting for the revenue. This is a very linear progression, right? So we are not seeing any seasonality in this product. Rather, there's going to be a decrease of 4. But I'll show you how to do that. Because if you do this, one day I see, you just seeing that we're going to be seeing an increase. So the truth should be some seasonalities in the business too as well. If you do this, you see, this is sorry. So now that we have our revenue, so the next thing we're going to do now is you can see the breakdown in detail. Now we can use, let's do our COGS. Our COGS here is less COGS, use assumption. So let's do something. Let's, let's do something. This is an incremental budget we are doing, right? We've already justified all this already. So we are saying this is as a percentage of our revenue. So for us to be, So we're saying this is percentage of revenue. Let's go to assumption. Where's our COGS? Our COGS here, we're saying raw material percentage of COGS. Sorry. Let's go to assumption. COGS. This is COGS. COGS. So these are the things that make up our COGS. Right? Selling and R&D is there. So let's see. So what made up the COGS? So we'll come here. Confirm. So there's a breakdown. The COGS is actually broken down. Let's bring them in. We have raw materials. Freight cost is there too. What else? So no, don't need this one. So now these are the things that make up. These are the things that make up our COGS. Like I earlier explained. So this will be so now we can call this one. This could be as a percentage. Let's put this one here. So this is as a percentage of COGS. Then this one is also a percentage. So this video is getting longer. I might. So we're almost done anyway. This one is as a percentage of our revenue. All these as a percentage of revenue. This will be as a percentage of our EBIT. EBIT. So now that we have this, so what's our COGS? So historically, let's check our assumption. Our COGS here, blended gross profit is this, right? So let's see our cost structure. Come here. So this is our all these form our COGS actually. So these are percentage of revenue for 2024, 2023, and 2024, right? So if you take averagely, this is 56%. If you take averagely, let's come here. There are four basically. Go to cost structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Let's just add Let's just bring the four of them here. This is what our cost structure look like. Let's bring four of them here. So this is into different. You see the cost and vibe. Okay, it was broken down here. It is broken down into different different products, right? So we won't do them with the same thing. So what we're going to do here is okay. I'll come here. So we let's bring this one here. So we'll go as much detail as possible, raw material. So if we don't want to do that, we can also do this something like this. So we have this. So average for this is this, and this. So this is what 29. Or you can even use the current year, which is using 5.8. So let's use the current year, which has been justified already. So let's see assumption. Well, it was not properly justified here. That's the reason why price volume. Okay. Um, okay, manufacturing overhead, logistics, some costs for your revenue, and all of that. So okay, we can also do that structure. Then come here. What percentage are we using for this? Let's see. Assumption here is the percentage are using for raw material, percentage of costs. So 54 percentage of revenue. So that's percentage of our revenue for each of these. So then what we need to do now is okay, so we'll do this for raw material. So let's bring this one down first. Okay. Okay, good. So we can do this as a percentage of our revenue. I'm not breaking it down to see. So if you want to even break it down further, let's just go down. Let's just be detailed as possible. So we bring this product line here, right? Yeah, let's come here to labor. So, so percentage of costs, right? Now we can also do this. Right? You can see all. You can see the breakdown for each of these. I don't want to do it on a high level. I'm breaking it down further for each of these product line. So then we come here, so we're doing this is raw material, so we're doing percentage of cost. It's for raw material. This is labor. So what's our total cost here? So we are saying that cost here is what? 54%. Let's see cost. What's cost? Overall cost here is raw material, which has been broken down here. Mm, 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 mm. So blended margin is so cost will be around, so gross profit margin. Gross profit margin is, so we are going to do this multiply by this. So this is the level of gross profit margin before, right, for the business. Now that we have our gross profit margin, we have kept it at that amount month on month. If we do this gross profit margin, you do this divide by this, you can see that you will still have that 43%. Of course, right? We maintain that 43%. That's how we have kept it. We want to maintain a gross profit of 43%. So now the represents now the remaining one to get our costs now. Costs here is month on month will now be this minus this, right? So this is the amount you have wasted on costs. You have spent on costs. So now the costs here now will now be, so to check among these, we've been told that for pulp and vice, this is the assumption, raw materials are going to use this. So we are going to come here and say percentage of costs, raw material, this is raw material. We are going to be using to do that. We now see this percentage of revenue. So this is 6%, right? Which is 7. So now what do? We split this overall costs for the business. So we go further to say raw material. Okay, let's not do it. Okay, let's not break it down further into that way. Okay, since I'm just trying to work around, we can. I think it will be too cumbersome this way. Okay, let's put it like this. Percentage of costs. Let's still maintain that level. Wait, oh, so that's not too cumbersome from us, right? So percentage of cost. So the percentage I've been given here will be this. So let's bring this one here. These are costs item. Let's bring them here, right? So this one is percentage of costs. What percentage is it for raw material? We are doing this. It's 54%. Did you get? We are driving across. This is taking up labor. Labor. 95. What the remaining 5% goes to? Okay. That's how we are splitting these costs. Labor. Manufacturing. 15%. Logistics. Fleet. So if you add everything, you should add back also to this amount. So we still have 5%. That 5%, let me bring one of these costs here. Maybe quality, fleet, logistics, manufacturing overhead, direct labor. Direct labor is there. Quality. Let me bring quality. One of the items here, quality. That should give us our 5% that we're looking at for. So the remaining 5% will be on quality. So let's document it here. There is one here. Now let's see if we add back to quality. 5%. So we do this, multiply by the 5%. So if you add this it will give you the 120. So this is the breakdown of our costs, right? So now, alright, so we have our costs. You can do the same thing. So you're selling and so is a percentage of your revenue. Let's see, what is it? Selling here is percentage of your revenue, which is the 12%. So you can do that. You can also break this one down and break it down for that. This multiplied by all the assumption here, 12%. Right. If you really want to break it down, that's it. Good. So overall total will still give you, if you decide to do it that way, 25,000. I do the same thing for R&D. Um, this is not unity, this is revenue. Right. So you do the same thing for this too. Right. So we do the same thing. So we are doing this also as a percentage of our revenue. So we're just doing an incremental. This is an incremental budget. Uh, so assumption for this. So this video is becoming longer, but I don't want to cut it short. Uh, yeah, it stand for depreciation and amortization for all your CapEx item, right? So your rent, interest, we're doing 2% of revenue. So now we have our granular broken down like this. So we can bring here, let's put our financial statement here. So let me create, this is historical. Let me create another copy here. Let's use this format. Consolidated budget model. So I'll delete all these ones. These are the historical ones. This is the template we are using. I'll delete all these ones. Right. So now we have our template. So I'm just going to call this one. This is 2025. Consolidated monthly P&L budget 2025. Good. So you can change the date to 2025. Sorry. Let's do your formatting. Alright, so this is it. Now let's just, what you just need to do is link. So we have our revenue there. Our projection. This is our revenue. This is the total revenue for the business. So if you want to see the detail, this is the detail breakdown. One can easily see for each of these products. Now, this is our revenue. Aside from 2025, this is revenue. This 2024, you don't need it. So you take 2025, drag it down to this place. Right? Then you bring your less your costs. Costs has been given. Costs is here. We have our costs here already. So I take this one. Good. So when you add this plus this, because this is negative already, just give you this. Right? So now we have this. So let's see the percentage of this divided by this. Here we are still able to, you see, 53. This minus this, we were still able to maintain rates. So averagely, you can see that we still give you 48 or 49. Gross profit. What's our gross profit here? Gross profit is 155. Let's go back to, okay, this is gross profit. 1 to 1. Or what am I doing? Go back there. This is, yeah, this is cost. Gross profit is here, 8%. This will give you this minus this. Okay, so where am I getting? It's also for the 3. Let's see why it's not aligning. Oh, sorry, 110 for the 3. It's correct. 110. So let's see this. Oh, picking this is also instead of this. Because the minus sign is just negative. Good for the 3. I'm making sense. Good. You can see that we maintain the 43%. We're told. Now, and this, just link it. You have your COX, your SCG here. Where is the SCG? SCG is here. This is the total here for SCG. Take this one. This is for 2024. We don't even need that 2024. That's why it's causing confusion. Oh, indeed. minus this. This one, depreciation. So you have this. So let's call this one, that to make this one properly. Let's call this one EBITDA. Even before interest, tax, and amortization. Let's call this one EBIT, EBIT. So this one will now be this minus plus this, because this is negative already, plus this, plus this. You get? Mm. Good. Ah, study seriously. It's coming on. Wow. So that, so you link that to this one too. You link your depreciation, we've done that. So you take this one, this plus this. So it looks like, right? So this is EBIT. This divided by revenue, 24. Then less your expense, interest. This plus this. Then tax is usually 30%. You can do 30% of this as a tax. Assumption the tax is 30%. Is once and once. Good. You can even put a minus sign there. Good mix plus X. So 15%. You see that the business is still doing very well. It's profitable. So this is how to pay your budget. Now this is now Alright, so this is a typical budget model, how it looks like. So you can go ahead and use the data set and come up with something more unique, even more better than this, right? You can play around the data and all of that. So on our next video, we are going to be doing a little bit more on zero-based budgeting, where we have to gather all the data from informatical. But this is more of a incremental budgeting, and where we can see some seasonality. Though they are seeing some seasonality, but you can see here that the revenue has been more on an incremental revenue. We are seeing that our revenue is going to be increasing month to month, which is not possible. So you need to apply some seasonalities into these numbers to see, okay, how is this thing is going to look like, right? So this is just a linear growth projection, right? So in our next video, we'll do more on zero-based budgeting and some seasonality, how we can apply some seasonality into this projection. Thank you. See you in the next video. Bye.